This type of statement continues to divide white people and black people in America. And I'm going to explain why. Especially when it's a Christian right-wing Republican. That they use this argument too often. Now, I appreciate my guy here. He's non-Christian. But he is saying that he enjoys my post. But it seems like I don't have love for white people. Well, that is very far from the truth if you've listened to many of my videos. In the majority of my videos where I would discuss race, I would tell you that I do not believe that race actually exists, and I have no love for anybody who is racist or have racist thoughts. And sometimes those racist thoughts are underlying, and we don't even realize it. The fact of the matter is, I have love for all people, because I honestly, and I know this sounds cliche, I don't see color in that format when it comes to just being a higher conscious being and how I treat people. But yet, I also always say that we do live in a matter plane universe where racism does exist, whether it is right in your face or it is benign and then becomes cancerous without you even recognizing it. And that is the type of statements that you made, not so much in this comment, but in your long ass comment that, of course, I normally don't read, but I read yours. The fact that you grew up poor, the fact that your family is from Romania and so was not here during the slavery in America, and the fact that you are a swarthy Caucasian, as you expressed yourself, and many Romanians have more melanin than the average other European, so I get what you're saying. The fact remains, even though you say that you are poor and you've never gotten a job because you were white, and you've never gotten special treatment because you were white, here's the thing that you don't realize, and this is what many people who are receiving white privilege don't realize. They're getting privileges without them actually realizing that they're getting the privilege simply because of their skin tone. You say that the liberals are worse and more racist because they're saying that black people aren't smart enough to get the job. Black people aren't smart enough to get into the college. Black people aren't, and that's what the liberal programs are set up to actually keep black people down. I do understand how you can come to that thought process, but you're coming to that thought process without realizing that if there weren't quota laws in place during the 70s and 80s when I was growing up, that many qualified black people were not getting jobs, and that was the only way they can get certain jobs. They wouldn't get into the engineering programs, the biochemical programs, the IT program. I still suffered trying to get into the IT world as a black man in the late 90s, early 2000s. As soon as they saw a black man walk in the door, it was like, he can't have a certification in all these Microsoft and Cisco programs. This must be someone else's resume, or he must be lying. Because they looked at black people as saying that we could not have been able to get those, be educated enough to get those jobs, and black people don't do that kind of work. But anyway, I digress. The fact of the matter is, you got jobs and got preferential treatment for being white without them actually having to say it. When you look at a job situation and there are 30 white people and 5 black people, that is an indication that they have been hiring primarily white people. Now, without quota laws, there wouldn't even be the 5 black people. Without quota laws, getting into some of these colleges, there wouldn't be the 5 or 10 that gets into the college. It would be completely white. But the quota laws gave access to where we did not have access. So therefore, those things were put in place in order to give black people at least a fighting chance to prove that we are just as capable as anyone else. So that's why those are there. And of course, it's always and please don't be offended by this, it is always the white people who are at the lower level of the qualification that complains about them not getting a job so that they can hire a black person or a woman. But they hire first all their higher level white people, and then they wait till they get to the bottom level before they start allowing black people to come in. And usually we have to be twice as good as the other ones. So although you may not see the white privilege that you receive, you are still yet receiving it. When a police officer pulls you over, the attitude is different than when a police officer pulls over a black person. I'm not saying every police officer is that way, but you don't have to worry about that. Unless you're in a lower income area where it is high crime, you don't have to worry about that. I grew up in Atlanta. If you were in Alpharetta and I get pulled over and then the same cop pulls you over, that same cop more than likely will give you the benefit of the doubt before they would give me the benefit of the doubt. That is something that I have to be concerned about that you do not have to be concerned about. So the liberal programs are not so that they are the overwhelming majority thinking that black people can't accomplish anything. And you did not get a job because some quota put somebody ahead of you who wasn't qualified. We have to be qualified even in the quota law in order to get those jobs. So that old myth about unqualified people of color getting jobs, it's a myth, my guy. But I do appreciate you. Now, as far as my love for white people, here's something that I'm gonna get to a Muhammad Ali story in just a second. But as far as the individual, I have white people that I love, but I love the individual person. As a group, I'm a little bit more cautious. I have reason to be. Either the white person as a group is dead set in my face against me, or they smile in my face and hide their hands. It's like it's like Muhammad Ali said. There are 1,000 snakes outside my door. 7 of those snakes are not and will not bite me. But out of the 1,000, how do I know which ones are the 7? And so instead of opening the door and hoping that the 7 come in, I keep the door closed. Now for me, people like my friend Troy has proven himself to be my friend. So therefore, I have no problems with Troy. I love Troy. I love his family. Matter of fact, his daughter is it's my goddaughter. So I have no problems with that. But if you're asking me to trust the whole of whiteness of America, nah. There's a lot more snakes with venom out there than there are ones without venom. So as a whole, I can't. Every police officer is not going to try to kill me. But I don't know which ones. There's no glow that the ones that are not going to kill me have on them, so I know which ones are which. So I'm cautious about all of them. That's something that you probably don't have to deal with, but it's definitely something that pretty much every black person in America has to deal with. So if I get to know you, meet you, I might love you. But until such a time, I'm cautious because I have to be in this consciousness that we live in. But when we rise to a higher consciousness, it won't even be a thing because there's no such thing as race in the higher conscious planes. So you have a great day. And remember always, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.